All right, everyone, welcome back to our gaming challenge where Stone has taken a command and lead, as we've said every single week. And really, the matchup here is now for second place. Jamie and I both have 62 wins. And so when you kind of plan this out, the first 2 years we've done this, you kind of plan that you'd have like a two-way heat for first place. Now, both seasons they were actually blowouts, so that hasn't happened. But heading into the playoffs for the NFL, there should be a lot of snipes, a lot of hopefully people have backup picks on their list because there's not a lot to choose from. Now, just coming off last week, positive week as far as percentage 17 and 16 minus 0.14 units. Got a lot of picks this week, and so I just kind of leave it at that. Just kind of blah heading into this week from a mediocre week last week. Stone, do you have any opening remarks as the leader?
No, I just want to say that got to 10 picks, didn't jinx it. Jamie brought it up like 10 weeks ago, and was finally able to get there. And I see it's gonna be hard to get back to this level. I feel like next season, but I'm gonna try. But yeah, this might be a peak. We'll see.
Jamie,
Yeah, I
you're
mean, I
down.
was
Yep.
hoping for the jinx, but it didn't happen. I feel like ever since that week for me, it's been terrible. We had a good week 2 weeks ago, and
Mm-hmm.
then I thought we might be back on the up and up, but last week, oh, my picks were stinky. A lot of guys who I thought were going for incentives just did not even try. I feel like so.
So
That was not a good move for some of the picks, some not. But really, I feel like I'm a grifter here because it might be a battle for second place. But if you look at the units, if you look at the losses, I should be far behind. I should be ranked lower. I think I'm really in last place here because negative 22 units is terrible for viewers. If you're a Jamie fan, you're not doing great.
So Jamie and I have been kind of bad at opposite things. Jamie is minus 18 units on the game side. I'm minus 18 units on the player prop side. Those have been anchoring us down pretty good. Um, we're going to try to get to positive and we're going to try to battle for second place. But I do think this could be the greatest season of all time for Cove agrees for Stone. I just don't ever see you could get to 130. You could maybe get to 140 in the next 2 weeks, just with the because you're going to have Stone has 16 picks this week, 16 next week.
I got 17 this week.
You do?
Yep.
Why do I? I think that's from that message you sent me. I had the thing wrong. I have
Yeah.
you at six.
So I have
We'll check.
17
Anyway,
this
so
week. Yeah.
17.
The minimum
That
I'll
means
have
you could
next week
get,
is 15.
or you could get to 19,
Or that, yeah.
and that puts you in a place where, yeah, Cove agrees. Yeah. Anyway,
You'd have to pick
we'll
every
leave it at
game.
that.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, even this week, because I have 6 game picks, and I think you have like 6 or 7, right? I
I
think
have 6 game picks.
it's
Yeah.
gonna get tight, this week, and then next week's gonna be even worse on game picks. We're gonna really have, I think what's gonna end up happening is somebody's gonna pick the over for the game, and then people are gonna have to pick like team overs or unders and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I'm forecasting a lot of snipes, a lot of head to heads. There's no other way to do it.
yep,
And so if it was a close heat between the three of us, it would be like this would be go time.
yeah,
But we'll pivot over into week 19, so wild card round. So based off of and like I said, I had this wrong in my spreadsheet. So Stone's gonna go first with 7. I have 6. Jamie, you have 3. I think that's accurate. I'm gonna grab the baby while Stone goes.
yep. I think I have 6 picks, but yeah, I should be going first still.
Well, I had 6. I thought you just said 7. Anyway,
Well, so
we'll do 6.
plus the touchdown.
Oh, plus the touchdown. Okay.
Yep. All right. Been riding this team all season. I'm gonna continue to ride them. They were my future pick to make the playoffs. And I think the Texans are not that good. Chargers -3 at -102.
Yeah. Well, I say I think everyone had this on their board, hopefully. Connor. I hope you did. Just to add some little information, Chargers are 12-5 against the spread. They are 5-1 against the spread on the road, and Houston is 7-8-2 against the spread. So, great pick.
Like this pick. I didn't put it down because I thought that someone else would have it, so I have some other things for that game for later. But I'm going to do what any homer has to do as soon as they get a chance to. The team hasn't won a playoff game since 2005. They've only won 3 playoff games in my lifetime. That's right, Cove. I'll get you in a second. All right, I'm going to just do it. Washington +3, and that's at -105. I actually think they win the game. I'm going to have in my personal card a massive money line play on here. But I'll take the +3 for the podcast, and yeah.
I have some concerns about that game, but I will bring them up later. Go ahead. I'm not going to go head-to-head on that one. For my first pick, I'm going to take Philly -5.5, and that's at -105. It's a rematch versus Green Bay for their Week 1 game. Green Bay is great against terrible teams. They are horrible against above 500 teams. I think they've won 1 game out of 5. But I think Philly handles them at home pretty easily. Runs all over.
All right, going into my next pick, it's going to be Minnesota -3 at -102. Rams, technically not even a home game anymore. I think Minnesota is going to be going in there, something to prove. And I think they're overall a better team. Even though they lost to them earlier in the season, I think the Vikings are feeling slighted for being a 14-win team and going on the road as the number 5 seed. So I think they'll go in there and beat the Rams.
So it seems like we're just picking sides right now. No one has an over/under anything. I'm going to keep that rolling, but this is a team I kind of been riding with for a couple weeks, and I was really surprised JV took the -5.5. I think that's a big number. I'm taking Green Bay +5.5. Get some points, get a little buffer. Green Bay can get hot. They can score a lot of points. I don't know why I didn't put down any of the odds for any of my picks, but I got it up right here. That's -115. So we got our first head-to-head. I'm just going to be transparent about it. Another little bit of a homer pick. If they win and we win, we don't have to play the Lions. So I'm going to be rooting for that. All right.
Hey, makes sense. Philly's number 1 defense. Jordan Love was injured last game. I don't like the spread, but yeah, we'll see head to head. For my next pick, I'm gonna go with Baltimore over 26.5 team points. That's at -122. I think they put up 34 last time versus the Steelers. I don't see the Steelers banged up defense stopping them, even though that Zay Flowers is out. I think Baltimore can clear this.
Yep, don't hate it.
Did you say Zay Flowers is officially out?
I believe so.
Yeah, he
Okay.
is officially out.
All right, going back to this Green Bay Philly game, I'm on Jamie's side on this. I don't like Green Bay in this game, so I'm gonna take. And I also both of these teams want to run the ball, and I think when both teams are run-heavy focus, especially with Christian Watson being out, that tends to be a lower scoring game, and the time tends to run out a lot quicker. So I'm gonna take the under on this at 45.5 at -112. Side note on this, week 1, I picked the under on this game as well and lost. So we'll see how this goes now.
That one did get unhinged at the end there. I mean, that was a rainy game. Everyone thought, hey,
it was in Brazil. I was like, first game of the season, but we'll see.
Defenses didn't show up. They will this time.
Yeah, the Philly defense will show up this time.
All right. So I got to go for pick number 3 here. And I want to give a stat for this one, but I don't have it up because I picked a similar stat from before. I think I lost on it, and I want to flip it now. I'm taking the Pittsburgh and Baltimore over, and that's at 43.5. I picked the under earlier in the season. I think I got beat at the end, or I just barely snuck it out, and that was at 47.5. This is 4 points less than that. So I'm just thinking, I'm got 4 extra points here, and so that's at minus 115. I messed that up, and I know the reservation here is that the Steelers' offense has looked absolutely atrocious, and George Pickens had 3 drops and no receptions, and there's a lot of bad going on there. But we've been saying all year that Baltimore somehow seems a way to give up points to teams, and maybe they shouldn't be. Maybe their defense should be better. So I'm going to take 43.5.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that the reservations are that so much as that now that they have Derrick Henry, I think they should. We'll see if they do it or not. That they will get a lead and they will just pound him until the clock goes to dust. I think the reason they've been giving up a lot is because they didn't have that running back in the past. Lamar was forced to throw to some not great wide receivers, and they let teams get back in it, or the defensive coordinators, cough, the Bills, made some good moves. But Baltimore's defenses look better as of late. Tre'Davious White, yeah. So
I have the number for this. So I had on week 11 Baltimore Pitt under 48.5. It was a win. It was a win by less than a field goal, and this is 5 points less than that. So that's where that comes in.
Yeah, I mean, the last game was 34-17. So, I mean, there was 51 points. So
I picked the game before that one, though. I picked the over, and it was not even close. They scored like they were in the teens, I think, for each team score. But it can go either way.
We'll see. Yeah,
we will see.
All right, Jamie, you're up.
I'm not up. You made a mistake. I had 3 picks last week. I lost at least 2 of them. I think I lost. I stopped counting after.
Let's check. Yep, that is accurate. So you will be now officially skipped.
And thank God, because I'm tired of running out of picks here, because I've gotten sniped I think 2 or 3 times already. Next game, Tampa Bay Washington over 50.5, the highest over/under game of the week.
Yep.
There's probably a reason. Tampa Bay's pass defense has been notoriously bad. They tend to be a pass funnel. Their run defense is elite, so you kind of have to pass on them. And then Washington's defense has kind of been soft. I think they're more mid-table, but they're still kind of soft, especially against the run game. So I like this. I like this over, and I think it'll be a shootout in this game.
Yeah, Washington's pass defense is actually kind of decent, but I think that's because their rush defense is like 3rd to last.
Bad, yeah.
So teams are just running instead of passing.
I think, they're getting Lattimore back this week. If Lattimore was on the Saints, he would not have let Mike Evans get that 1,000. He would have just PI'd him, I think.
Oh, they would have had a fight. Oh, I would have loved to seen that.
It would have been pretty good entertainment, but yeah, those guys do not like each other, so I think it'll be an interesting battle. But I still think I like the over point total. The Bucks just gave up like a ridiculous amount of points to the Saints and Spencer Rattler, so
this is why I wanted them as a Commanders fan. Tampa Bay did not look good. Connor's over here asking for the Rams, man. No.
I might be asking for the Rams here in a second or two, too. All right, there's this team. I think it's my turn. So there's this team that we've been using the F word for: fraud. 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they were in first place in the division. Everything ran through them, and they have seemed to have gotten worse week after week after week. I know I picked the over in the game. It's because I really I love that Jamie's Baltimore over 26.5, because I think they're getting in the 30s. I think they are going to absolutely pound Pittsburgh. I think that this covers the over late, only because Pittsburgh's going to have to try to keep up with them. And I'm not afraid, even with Zay Flowers out. I almost crossed it off my board, but I'm not going to do that. I'm taking Baltimore minus 9.5, which is a lot for a playoff game. But I think the Steelers are frauds. I do not think there is a script out there where they keep this close. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. The only thing worries me is the Ravens are notorious for giving up garbage time. Which
There could be a backdoor cover. Yeah.
Russ Wilson with the backdoor cover.
Yeah,
I mean, do not bet on that.
Yeah,
God,
actually,
disgusting.
yeah. Let's bring this up because I picked George Pickens over last week, and
Mhm.
he got like one catch for minus 1 yard. Absolutely ridiculous. Just absolutely terrible. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I saw a tweet, and it was like George Pickens needs 100 yards to get to 1,000, and he ended up lower.
Yeah,
somehow.
absolutely ridiculous. No idea what they're doing. But
because I had a little money on him. I was actually looking at him running routes. He did not. I would be willing to bet if you got the all 22, he was not running full speed all those routes. Some of those routes I was watching, and it looked like he was giving up.
It's so bad. Steelers wide receivers, man.
Bad vibes. There's some bad vibes there.
All right. Next game, Buffalo versus Denver over 47.5 at minus 112. I think this is the first time this game's on the board, surprisingly. Well, maybe not surprising because the spread's a little. I don't want to touch that. But Buffalo is really good at hitting the overs this year, and especially so at home. It seems like they put up a lot of points, and their defense has been known to give up points here and there. So I think I'm not scared of this over, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, Bo Nix also intermittently can throw up some points too. So we'll have to see which Bo Nix shows up. Buffalo's defense hasn't been the best either. So
yeah, and I think that Denver is a serious dog here, and I love it. 8.5 is a ton of points. I know I just laid 9.5, so just forget what I said about Baltimore. But Denver, they got some dog in them, and they got some guys that are scrappy, and I like the 8.5 here. And the Bills probably, the best team playing this weekend. I get that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, I think 8.5 to a team like that is too many. And so I do think that Buffalo wins, but it should be close. And I had the over, and I've just kind of got sniped. So I moved it over to the 8.5, and hopefully it falls within that standard deviation. That's at minus 110.
All right, and then my last pick here, I'm going to take, kind of tying up with my first pick, I'm going to take the Chargers over team total of 22.5 at minus 105. This is very within reach. Even though the over-under is like 41, I think they're expecting a more defensive game. I think the Chargers can easily put this up.
Yeah, seems low.
It does seem low, and that's why I'm sort of torn about two different things. Trying to see if this one was sniped yet. No, I don't think it was. So I'm going to take an over. I got too many sides on this one. I got 2 minuses, 2 pluses. I'm going to take another over. I'm going to take Minnesota and the Rams at 47.5. I'm not really nuts about the Rams defense. I think Minnesota needs to have a serious bounce back after that absolute nothing burger that they threw up in what was supposed to be, according to all the announcers, the biggest game in regular season NFL history with the most on the line and the highest. And it was an absolute dud. I want to talk about that real quick. Had a great day. Said, they think that 8 touchdowns are going to be scored this game. I'm just going to load up on touchdown scores. Give me every touchdown score that has a positive number. Load up a whole thing, all the winnings all day. Load it up.
And then I would give
one dude scored a touchdown. One dude, and he scored 4. They didn't even get close to 8. I'm sitting there sweating it out with Jamie on Justin Jefferson touchdown, and they threw the ball to it. They had it on the 5-yard line for 7 plays, and they could not believe it. Lost everything.
To their credit, they tried to get it to Justin Jefferson. For the life of me, and I apologize to this guy because the the defensive back covering him suddenly turned into Darrelle Revis. I mean, that was like the greatest cornerback performance I've ever seen in my life. 5 straight plays at Justin Jefferson. This dude is all over him all of a sudden. Out of nowhere, single coverage, wasn't even bracketed. And this dude just, great performance there. But yeah, terrible for Connor. I mean, it's kind of like throwing all your bets on the numbers in roulette and it hitting 0. I mean, it hurt.
Yeah. It is like it. You know what? I couldn't have thought of a better example.
But real quick, Connor, was that an over or was that an under?
That was an over.
Over. Okay.
We don't normally pick a lot of unders. Sometimes I leave them blank.
Gotcha. Yeah, Minnesota is a pass funnel. Should be a lot.
Yeah, and I think that was a legendary coaching performance from the Lions. They've got like half their defense injured, like their whole team's injured, and they're still going out there just like absolutely dominating teams on defense, which is insane. The best wide receiver in the NFL, and you're getting this cornerback who's fucking a no-name and just crushing.
I think they just ran the Sam Darnold script. Like they can hit some coverages, gave him some pressure early. He missed a couple. All of a sudden, nothing is going according to plan.
Seeing ghosts. Yeah, I mean,
seeing ghosts again. And what
you saw the regression.
They watched some Jets tape and really pulled that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll pivot over to the player side. I'll be quiet a lot for this one. A lot of picks from Stone. He's going to go first. He has 10. I'm going to go second with 2. And then Jamie is going to go last with 5. So we got 19 to go here. 17. So this might take a second. Stone, go ahead.
I mentioned it before. The Tampa Bay pass defense is kind of soft, and I think the Commanders are going to have to be putting up a lot of points. They want to keep up, and I think Terry is going to hit his line, which is pretty low at 64.5. So that's minus 115.
Yeah, this is one I looked at. Terry does, he has a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde type of season. There's games where he just does not show up at all. Now, granted, those are usually against some good cornerbacks, some good defenses, but that's probably why the line is this low. Because I can tell you this right now, we're not gonna run the ball.
I mean, if we did, it would be kind of silly. I feel like against
Connor.
There's just something weird going on with Robinson in the backfield anyway. I don't know. All the way back from the Monday night, it's been like 2 or 3 weeks. I know he had the game with 2 fumbles, but you look at like important times for the game and he's not even on the field. They got like Rodriguez or, I don't know. Maybe that'll change this week, but I don't think they run it. Yeah. All right. With that, I got a guy. This is a huge number. This is a big number, but there is somebody that has taken over wide receiver 1 for the Los Angeles Rams, and he's getting about 15 targets a game. And when you look at him out there, he just looks bigger, stronger, and faster than everybody. And that is Puka Nacua. And his over-under, it's a little chalky, is 89.5. That's a huge number. The chalky side is minus 125. I think they're behind in this game. I don't think their defense stops Minnesota at all, and I think they're going to have to throw it. And he is the guy that's going to benefit the most from that. So that is minus 125 at 89.5.
Part of this, I think, is like Kupp has just like vanished.
Vanished.
And Stafford seems to hyper target his number 1 wide receivers, and I think Nacua is that guy. And it just seems like Kupp is not that guy anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. It is so much that he vanished. It's that I think early on he was throwing to them both, and then he pretty quickly realized, hey, who is the guy?
Yeah.
And then, like he said, he zeroes in on a guy, Megatron, Kupp, and now him, he finds his number 1, and that guy gets, like he said, 15 targets a game, something crazy. And they scheme him open, too. It's not like Stafford's forcing the ball into some tight windows. Usually these number 1 guys, I mean, Megatron maybe is a little bit different, have been open. Kupp's usually wide open. Nacua, these last couple of games, he's been, they find him in the spots in the zone or man, they find him wide open. I had this on my list as well
Same.
Ooh.
because
Ooh.
we talked just like how we mentioned the over. Minnesota is a pass funnel. They will try to stop the run, especially against Kyron. They are definitely. I think Nakua is going to have some spots to get open. So this hurts a little bit. I will circle back on my pick, back to Robinson. I'm going to take his under. Robinson
This was my
under
next pick. This was my next pick.
46.5 rush at minus 120. The Bucks are literally one of the best rush defenses. We talked about Robinson a little bit. I think he has not looked right. I forget what game it was. He kind of got twisted back and hurt his leg. I swear I thought he broke his leg, but he came running back out, and I was like, oh my God. But ever since then, he hasn't looked great. I don't see us. If we're going to run, it's not going to be Robinson. I mean, we're going to try just for balance, but it's going to be Jaden.
Crazy stat here. The Bucks haven't let a running back hit 50 yards since November 5th. Just an
That is
insane
a crazy stat.
Insane stat. Insane run D. Yeah.
Especially they're in a division with Chuba and Bijan. Those are two fairly good running backs that you'd think could get the 50 mark. So that's especially impressive.
No, they have got an incredible run defense. This was going to be my next pick, and I'm extremely confident, and I'm a little upset this one got sniped. But moving on to my next one, Zay Flowers is going to be out, so I think Mar is going to have to throw to some other wide receivers, and I think Mark Andrews is going to have a bigger game. His line's a little high, but I like the number at 47.5 at minus 115.
He's been coming on as of late.
Yep.
He's a guy I drafted in fantasy in the first 4 weeks. I was probably the closest I've ever been to dropping like a top 4 pick before. And then ever since then, he's had touchdowns and yardage galore.
He's turned it around.
Yeah.
I think, with Flowers being out, I'd probably rather have my chances on Isaiah Likely. His number's much lower. I know he doesn't get as many targets, and Andrews got hot, but I just got, flashbacks from early in the season and kind of laying these numbers with Andrews at this level and then being totally disappointed the whole game.
You hear that, Stone? A guy that's 11 and 27 on player picks is telling you you're wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I got one I know is going to hit. This next one's going to hit for sure.
Oh, man. Turpin's not playing this week.
Wait. Time out.
Turpin's not playing this.
Guaranteed? Is this a guarantee?
We can make it a guarantee.
Oh, here we go.
Because when you find someone that's hot who gets their line from last week in the first half, who is absolutely balling out, is the for sure wide receiver 2 in a game where that's right, Cove agrees that you have to score. We are not going to move off of Marvin Mims until he lets us down. His line moved up. It was 38.5 last week. It's 43.5 this week, minus 115. We're going to hammer that, and we're going to keep hammering Mims until he lets us down. And that's at minus 115 at 43.5. That's it for me.
I do want just a slight bit of context, and really, this doesn't mean much for gambling, but the Chiefs 100% lost that game on purpose. I don't care what anyone says. They were not playing anyone of value. Okay, so that line last week and him breaking that line doesn't mean anything. He was playing against me out there last week. Okay, so this week he's actually playing against a real defense. I will be interested to see. Bo Nix has been slinging it. And this actually is a good time to bring up my future. They pulled Jaden out of the Washington game. He was up 130 pass yards going up into the game for leading rookie passer. Bo Nix, of course, I don't know, even if he played, he might not have covered it because Bo Nix had like 300 passing yards because they just ran up the score against, again, like the C team Chiefs. It wasn't even their B team. It's the C team. And they just said, hey, yeah, we're going to score 38 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, who would you rather play? The Broncos, potentially, or the Bengals?
100%.
Yeah.
I totally understand it. I just, 2 things. Why do you continue to pass the ball in the second half when you're up 28 to nothing or whatever.
Yeah.
That hurts my pick. That's why I'm complaining. I had to get that out.
Just a bad beat. I noticed it last Sunday. I think I presented it wrong. I think I said something like he was going to win the awards, and what I meant by that was he was going to lead, and there was a conversation about. Anyway, not the point. Bad beat. Could not believe it. I wonder what the odds for Bo Nix in the beginning of the season to lead the rookies in passing. It had to be something just astronomical. Which,
This is
if you're
probably
holding
like
that
what?
ticket,
What was Daniels? Daniels was like what plus one
I got
hundred
it right
something,
here.
185 or something.
Yeah,
Daniels was
Oh, it was
300,
300. Okay, Knicks was
Yeah.
probably plus 1,000. Is what we
Yeah.
came out
800,
with.
900, 1,000. Yeah. Whoever's out there holding that card,
Brutal.
baller.
Oh,
All
well,
right.
the bad
I'm
news
going to
going.
stay silent. I have no more picks. I'll get turned over to Jamie here.
No more picks. You sniped one of mine. That hurts a lot. My next pick, I'm going to stay with the Washington game. Bucky Irving over 90.5 rushing yards, and that's at minus 120. Our defense, our rushing defense, is third to last. I know, they love Mike Evans and all that stuff, but Lattimore's back, and I expect the Bucks. I mean, the playoffs are all about exploiting weaknesses. They're going to come at our rush defense, and I think for the majority of the season, Bucky and the other running back, they're kind of splitting carries. Bucky's kind of been trending up. I think they fully give it to Bucky now. They need to win this game, so this is going to be the majority of Bucky.
Like it. Now I'm gonna go with the running back who has looked terrible and it's getting worse over the season, and Jalen Warren is the better running back on that team. So I'm gonna take Najee Harris's under 41 and a half rushing yards at minus 115. Warren has really come on. We've been talking about this for a while, but Baltimore has a super good run D. I think they're bottom three for rushing yards allowed, and I think with Harris getting less touches and Warren getting more, and I think they'll be down. I don't think he hits this line.
Yeah, it's a solid pick. I was a little worried you're going to pick Warren, who I picked last week, and he didn't hit. All of a sudden they decided not to run with him. But I totally agree. He has looked better than Najee, and Baltimore's run D is serious. For my next one, we're going to stay with the running backs. I'm going to go with Derrick Henry over 99.5 rush, and that's at minus 115. This is a high line, but I seriously think, and I will be very upset if it doesn't happen. Baltimore should just give it to him 25 times, maybe even 30. That seal this game up, make this game as short as possible, get the win, and just get out of there. That's all you want to do. I think that's what they brought him in for. Go to town, buddy.
Yeah.
Real quickly, the last 3 games, quietly, Pittsburgh has been a bottom half rush D. They've been 17th in the last 3 games when, everyone thinks they're a good rush D. They're springing leaks.
Yeah, and I think you picked this last week, and he didn't have it for like the longest time, and then it was just like one big run, and you just cashed in. It was
The
great.
second half, him and Saquon, the second halves, they just start coming on real strong. I think something to do with wearing down the defense. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
well,
was worried.
I don't think many people like after playing a full half of football and then Derrick Henry's coming at you like
Mm-hmm.
not many people want to tackle. Not many people want to tackle that dude in the first place, and then yeah, it just gets worse.
Steelers are frauds.
Speaking of Steelers are frauds, 3 straight picks on this game. Talked about Flowers being out. I'm going to take Rashad Bateman's over reception line at 3.5 at plus 115. I think last game after Flowers went out, Bateman got a lot more targets. I think he ended up with 5 receptions. Throughout the season, he is usually not above this line, but with Flowers out, I think they have to pass him the ball, and him and Andrews, and probably likely as well. I think Bateman ends up getting a little more of the screen work that Flowers got, just maybe 1 or 2 screens in the game. That's an easy reception right there. So I will take this 3.5 line.
And he has looked pretty good these last couple weeks too. he's making some moves out there. He's using his speed. I've been impressed by the guy. So for my next one, I thought there'd be more bets on this game personally, but I can't believe this line, and maybe there's something I'm not seeing here. But Herbert over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and that's at minus 105. Basically even odds for Herbert to throw 2 passing touchdowns. Houston has one of the best rush defenses, so I don't know where this line is coming from. Houston's given up a lot of passing touchdowns, so their team line's at 22. That's 3 touchdowns, 2 of them being passing. I think that could happen.
Yep, I like that. Pivoting to a different game this time. I'm going to take Zach Ertz, his over 40.5 receiving yards at minus 110. I think over/under shows, as they think Vegas thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game. Pass defense for Tampa Bay. I already have McLaurin, and I think Ertz is going to put in some work too.
Always good to have a safety blanket.
Favorite player this season, Zach Ertz. He's had a great season. Maybe he's getting to the end of the line for his career. He's going to ball out. He's going to absolutely ball out no matter what. This is a guarantee.
A guarantee. But you didn't pick it, so.
Well, you only got 2 picks. You can only do so much.
Oh yeah, you only have 2 guarantees. Right?
Anyways, so I was looking back at my picks from last year, trying to get the spice back into my picks. I was wondering, like, what am I doing different? And one thing I found out is I did pick a lot of anytime touchdown scorers within my game picks. So I want to return to that. I'm going to go with Nico Collins, anytime TD, and that's at plus 140. This is a guy, he's already been picked for a touchdown pick, so no need to steal here, but I think they're going to be down. They're going to need to pass, and without their other 2 wide receivers, he's the top target.
I love the anytime TD pick. I hit Devontae Adams last week, even though it looked like super dire at some point. I was like, there's no way Aaron Rodgers is throwing 4 touchdowns or whatever, which is ridiculous. But I like that pick a lot. And then I had this further down on my list, but you brought up the anytime TD, so might as well bring it back, and I'm going to take Josh Allen anytime touchdown at minus 120.
This one was one of my backups. I think he might get 2 of these.
All right, Stone. It's pretty much you for the next
me
4.
now?
Just you now.
you,
So. Yep.
All right, well, gotta start going down the list. I'll try and get through as quick as I can, so it's just not me talking for the next 10 minutes. Okay, so this next one, Connor sniped my Washington plus 3 earlier, and I like Washington to win this game, and I think Baker's gonna be chucking a little bit, and I think part of that is gonna be ending up with him getting at least 1 interception, and his line for 0.5 of interceptions is at minus 115. So I will take that. He averages 1 a game, or right around 1 a game, so I like that. And then back to that, when the Buccaneers are down in the game, they throw to the running backs a ton. And I think Bucky's going to get a ton of receptions, but Rachaad White is also out there, and his line's super low at 1.5 receptions at minus 130. A little chalky, but I like that's a super easy line for him to hit. And that's one of the things he's out there for is to catch passes. So I think that's the one thing he's probably just as good as Bucky at, maybe worse, but that's the one thing he's got going for him. Otherwise, Bucky Irving is the guy out there.
So that was 1.5 receptions at what?
Minus 130.
Got it.
This is a Connor line right there. That's a Connor pick.
It is a little bit of a Connor pick. All right, how many I got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more left. Okay. Going back to this under game I picked earlier, both of these teams over the back half of the season, they've really preferred running the ball, and I think Philly's going to want to run the ball, and when they do pass, they're going to be passing to A.J. Brown, and I'm going to take Devonta Smith's under at 61.5 receiving at -110. Okay, and then last pick, I already picked two wide receivers, or a wide receiver and a tight end for this over receiving line, so I might as well just stack it with Jaden Daniels over 236.5 passing yards at -115. I think Tampa Bay pass D is very soft, and I think Washington's going to be able to put up a lot of. They have to pass to win. They have to pass to win. I think Daniels will put up some numbers.
They at least have to be in a passing play to win. Daniels might scramble a lot, but he'll have opportunities to pass. Just real quick on Daniels, if I had some other alternates, his rushing line would be on there. He rushed, I think, a season high versus Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay blitzed him one of the most times. I expect them to blitz him some more in this playoff game and make him think quickly. So see his scrambling being a thing if anyone wants some extra picks.
All right, so that's going to take us over into the touchdown parlay. I really felt good about the one last week. That was right in kind of line with the odds that we've been hitting, and we have made a pivot into the negatives. We are at minus 0.16 units. So we got to hit one of the next two. And there's still some people out there. So what we'll do is we'll go. Oh, I didn't update the percentages on this sheet. That's okay. We'll just go.
You should go
Stone
first.
and then me.
Oh, no, you
want
go
me
first.
to go first?
You
Okay,
won.
I go first. I'm ready. I just didn't. I didn't really. This guy's touchdown score all year was been minus 250, minus 300, minus 225. This week it's at minus 125. I know the Vikings defense is tough, but you could not get a. Never mind. Skip me. It's already on the board. I didn't even check. I thought for sure no way this would be picked because it was so much of a negative all season.
I picked it very early on. I thought you were talking about somebody else for a second. But
no, I was just in my head. There's been like three people. It's been like Henry, Saquon, and Williams that have had such bad number like minuses that I figured we hadn't touched them, and I didn't even check. And as soon as I looked up, I saw his name. Skip me. Come back to me. Who's next?
Okay, Stone, you can go next. I'll go.
All right. This guy's had also some pretty high touchdown lines throughout the season because he's kind of like been their whole offense. But Joe Mixon's line is pretty low this week at minus 125. That's why I thought you were picking him because it's the same exact line as Kyron. But I think Mixon's pretty much their offense. It seems like Stroud has regressed a little bit. I like Nico Collins to score too, but I think they're really going to be giving Mixon the ball here.
Barrett Collins already got picked by you. Look at there, so yep. That's okay. We don't want to use him here. I cannot believe this guy did not have a single bet on him. Ladd McConkey, plus 140. I talked about Houston has given up so many passing touchdowns. I have the Justin Herbert line. I just cannot believe someone didn't take his receptions, his yards. He is talk about number one wide receivers. I mean, Quentin Johnson has looked better recently, but you cannot trust Quentin Johnson. It's McConkey or bust.
I can't believe Johnson put up like 180 last week. That was the most insane thing ever.
He actually caught the ball. That's what happened.
Yeah. Incredible.
Oh, wow. I thought I was muted. Cove was crying the whole time. So I'm going to have to just do you made a huge mistake and you got to play it safe here. I'm going to take Derrick Henry. I don't think anyone's taking him. There's no way.
Nobody's
minus 185.
That's not even that bad, to be honest.
That's not really even that bad. I mean, that's going to put the parlay at plus 566, and it'll probably be a little bit of rounding error depending on what book you're on. That would push us into the green if we hit that, and that is not overly ambitious touchdown parlay right there. But at least we can use Derrick Henry. We don't have to worry about looking back.
2 number 1 running backs. I mean, this is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. This late in the season, having some of those guys, I thought for sure Williams wasn't used because he had some crazy numbers this year, but I was wrong. All right,
Is
is any
Saquon on here?
Saquon's still out there. You can take him next.
Saquon's still
That's
out there?
I
Is
think,
his numbers been high?
His number's pretty high, I think. Jameer Gibbs is also out there, I think,
Yep.
for next week.
Talk about betters. I wonder who lost a ton of money on Saquon touchdowns from
Saquon's
the
number
tush
is
push.
minus 170.
Mm.
That's still like for the tush push. That's still terrible. You know, like
Yeah.
he needs to be closer to like the Joe Mixon line for me to even consider that because
Yeah, Hurts
if they
line's
get you
at
the one. Yeah,
minus 120. Is Hurts on the board? Can I change my pick? No, I'm just kidding. I think Hurts
All right,
is
we're not
not on
changing
there.
picks.
oh my god.
There's
Well,
there's a lot of
next
people we
week.
haven't used, and so the other thing I was worried about, I was thinking we hadn't used Williams, and then if he lost this week, we would have never used him all week. So that was like my one. I should have checked, but that's going to close us out for the week. We got to hit one of these touchdown parlays to get in the green for the season. This happened to us last year with right at the end we went in the negatives and ended the season. So does anybody have anything else to note this weekend?
Nope, I got nothing. Going for 11.
Go for 11.
I hope you have to
All right.
fix the spreadsheet the next 2 weeks in a row.
Well, now that the other challenge is over because the season's over, I'll have time. But I appreciate everyone for joining us. I appreciate everyone's time, and I will see everybody next week.